There's something comforting about the idea of a fresh start. A new week, even if Mondays kind of suck, still gives us a chance to recalibrate for the days ahead. A blank page, while intimidating, leaves room for endless possibilities. And a new game we just bought fills us with excitement for the experience we're about to jump into. At first, all of it feels pretty good. Each one pulls us slightly out of our comfort zone, but in a hopeful way. A clean slate gives us space to regroup, breathe, and re-energize. But most of the time, a fresh start leads us down a familiar path. Excitement peaks, motivation carries us for a bit, then the novelty wears off. That clean slate gets scuffed. It's not as shiny or hopeful as it once was. And instead of figuring out how to keep going with what we have, we start looking for something new, something cleaner, easier, something exciting again. We press the reset button. We tell ourselves this time will be different. New start, new results. The very trendy cliche line, new year, new me. But not exactly. Because starting over feels productive, but most of the time it just delays the part where growth actually happens. And there have been two games that really have changed the way that I think about restarting. And if we can change the way we think about restarting or resetting, if we can learn to continue instead of restart, maybe we can build something that actually lasts. Before we get going, hi there, I'm Gummy. If this is the first time you are tuning in, welcome to the channel. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm really glad you're here. Now, let me ask this question to you. When was the last time you felt like starting over? I would love to read your answer in the comments below. And if you enjoy content about mindfulness, self-improvement, and video games, well, you're in the right place. Consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. I appreciate your time while watching today. Thank you. Now, back to business. A big reason why we feel that urge to reset is because resetting gives us a feeling of control and hopefulness that we don't really experience when we're in the middle of something we are trying to pursue. When we are in the thick of it, we are constantly comparing our progress to our past, and even worse, comparing ourselves to others around us. While it could be inspiring to compare to someone that you admire, most of the time comparing yourself to others could lead to belittling yourself. The confidence starts to drop, and then we feel ourselves starting to lose control. So, we stall out. And when we stall, we are usually facing a friction that keeps us from continuing. The progress remains out of reach, so naturally, we feel a restart will solve all of our problems. This time around, we will be prepared. It should be easy, right? But that's hardly ever the case. Life does not care about timing or if you're starting over. And this is where I want to enter the game Arc Raiders. This is a game I've been addicted to, as if you've watched any of my recent videos, I have a lot of gameplay. I think that why I'm somewhat hooked by it is that it plays on the tightrope we seem to feel when we have that urge to start over. The game can be so rewarding, especially when you find some high-value loot in a lab drawer. The biggest hit of dopamine happens for me when I find a rubber duck. Off topic, I know, but that sense of uncomfortability adds to the enjoyment of the game. Why does being uncomfortable and being unprepared help enhance this experience? Well, this discomfort forces me to be present in that moment. I have to be wary of the surroundings, whether it's the robot that's trying to blow my brains out or another player hunting me down for my rubber duck. I always need to be ready. I also have to be decisive. When I have enough, do I head out and extract, or do I roll the dice and try for more? I could lose the rubber duck, but what if there's a wolfpack grenade that's super valuable in the room 200 meters away? These risks create meaning, they create tension. It's tough at times, and sure, I know I make the wrong decisions, but each time I extract safely, I feel productive no matter what I bring back. So when I'm uncomfortable in Arc Raiders, I'm not thinking about optimizing or if I'm prepared. I'm simply concerned about surviving. I'm never 100% ready or 100% confident when I dive back in for another run. And you never really are, no matter the value of gear you go topside with. That's what Arc Raiders has kind of been teaching me about life. If I were to wait for the perfect time to get the perfect gear with the perfect results, I'd never play the game. I'd be at the loading screen looking at what I have and thinking about what I don't. Continuously loading in, getting damaged or killed, or coming out with little value loot still progresses my character. If I put all the pressure on myself to optimize maximum efficiency every time I play, I would not be enjoying my time at all. Instead, I load in with whatever gear I think's decent, or most of the time, a free loadout with less than superb gear, and I usually just see what happens. If I die, fine. I've learned my lesson. I maybe got a little greedy. Next time I'll take a different route. And if the next time I do make it out with a rubber duck and rubber duck only, well, nice. I still got something out of it. I made decisions. The experience was enriching, regardless of outcome. And that's what Arc Raiders is reinforcing for me. Progress doesn't come from the perfect runs. It comes from continually staying in the loop. Because every time I load back in, even if I did get killed by a robot trying to melt my face off, my character is still moving forward. Not because I did everything right, but because I'm not erasing or resetting each time something goes wrong. And that lesson has clicked with me lately. In real life, we treat every mistake like a failed run that needs to be forgotten about, deleted, and we need to reset. A missed workout, a missed writing day, a week where consistency maybe backtracked a bit. So we stall, we wait, and see if that perfect timing to resume ever comes back. We'll restart when we are ready. Arc Raiders doesn't let you grow by allowing you to wait at the loading screen. And neither does life. Progress happens when you keep going anyway, even with less than perfect gear, and then you just see what happens. And while Arc Raiders has taught me how to resume even when things are tense and uncomfortable, another game has taught me something as, or if not more important, how to keep going when things feel slow. And that game would be Skyrim. Now, it's 2026, and at this point, I'm only about 8 hours into my first ever playthrough of the game. I've told many friends that fact, and they are all very surprised when I say it's my first time experiencing a game like this. And wow, what a comforting game it's been. I could go on about the environment, but the reason this game is impacting me so much at this point in my life is that it respects how I want to play. Open world games used to overwhelm me with all the variety they have to offer. I feel that if I wasn't exploring every nook and cranny, then I wasn't getting my money's worth. But Skyrim has changed that for me. This game is not rushing me. It's not leading me down a path of pure optimization. There's not an overwhelming heads-up display that's overloading my brain on where I should go, who I should talk to, and what quests need to be completed in a specific order. In Skyrim, I'm just there, wandering off in the woods, while I'm on the way to kill an evil head of an orphanage. I'm getting distracted by conversations on the street. Whatever crumb of a conversation gives me a quest, I usually take it. I don't think I'm nearly as far in the main questline as I should be, but then I realize I don't need to be anywhere other than where I'm at. Because me being where I need to be doesn't help my character get stronger. By doing the things like swinging the sword or picking locks or telling a guard to buzz off when it's trying to shake me for my coins, that's how my character grows. And when I die, cool. I just keep going. I might set a mark for maybe I return later, but I don't feel an outside or internal obligation to do so. And that's when it hit me why this game has been so eye-opening for me. Skyrim doesn't penalize you or constrict you from the journey you are taking. If you want to take it slow and talk to all the village members, great. You can do so and learn a lot about the culture. Something small like that adds a lot to the experience and immersion. And this makes everything feel important and productive. There's not a moment that gave me a feeling like I wasn't improving at something. It doesn't make me feel like my progress doesn't count because I'm doing things the way that I want to. Even if I don't play for a couple days, I love that feeling of coming back with no pressure to do a specific task. And the more I play it, the more I realize how different it is from the way we treat ourselves in real life. We act like momentum disappears the moment we pause. Like one slow week cancels out a productive month. Like taking a break means we have to start all the way from zero again. But Skyrim never asks you to go back to level 1. or reset because you're not where you should be. It just lets you keep playing. It teaches me that progress is durable, not fragile. Progress is something you earn no matter how big or small it might seem to you. It doesn't just break or disappear because you took one step off the path. Since when is life going to allow you to walk the path that you set out for yourself? While Arc Raiders and Skyrim have little in common, these two games have taught me the same truth. Progress doesn't come from restarting, it comes from continuing, even when things are intense or painfully slow. So if pressure doesn't mean failure and slowing down doesn't erase progress, then what does continuing actually look like in our lives? For me at least, it stopped looking like dramatic restarts and turning it into small resumes, so to speak. We shouldn't feel like we need to fix everything all at once or feel like we should always be catching up. It should just be continuing where you left off. So with 3 tips, I hope to kind of voice that out a bit, give you some practical takeaways. So tip number 1, stop calling days ruin. One of the fastest ways we talk ourselves into restarting is by labeling a day as ruined. You miss a workout. Oh, the day is ruined. You skip the writing session. Oh, that day's chopped. You fall back into an old habit just for a moment. Oh, I ruined that day. And suddenly that whole day just feels like a loss. But that's not how progress works, in games or in life. In Arc Raiders, a bad run doesn't erase your experience. You still got all your stuff in your stash. In Skyrim, wandering off doesn't delete your progress. Calling a day ruined is just a shortcut to hitting reset. Most of the time, the day isn't ruined. It's just unfinished. Number 2, focus on returning, not restarting. Instead of asking, when can I start over? Or should I start over? I started asking, how can I return? How can I resume? Returning is quieter than restarting. It doesn't feel exciting or dramatic, but it's repeatable. Returning might mean doing one small thing instead of doing everything you planned, or picking up where you left off without worrying about fixing the past. In Arc Raiders, you don't wait for the perfect loadout. You load in and you adapt on the fly. In Skyrim, you don't restart your character every time you log off and wait a while. You just keep playing. Progress compounds when you practice returning, not when you chase fresh starts. And tip number 3, let imperfect effort count. This one might be the hardest, but imperfect effort still counts. A short workout still counts. A rough draft still counts. Showing up when you're tired still counts. Sure, there may be days where you wish you gave 100% and only can give 85%. But instead of belittling yourself for doing so, honor that imperfect effort, because that 85% still counts. If I only allowed perfect runs in Arc Raiders, I wouldn't play the game at all. If Skyrim punished imperfect play, it would turn me off. It wouldn't be nearly as meaningful to me and as I've seen on YouTube to all its hardcore fans. Most of the progress in our lives doesn't come from highlight moments. It comes from showing up when things feel a little off, and we continue to do so. Perfection makes progress fragile. Imperfect effort makes it durable. Some days, continuing looks like surviving the run. Other days, it looks like wandering slowly through it. Either way, you're still in the game. Most of us aren't lazy, but man, do we get tired of restarting. That's when we look to better our life. We need to understand that our path to improvement is never going to be cookie cutter linear. There will be ebbs and flows, and there will never be a perfect time to restart. No slate will ever be clean enough for us. Resets, yes, they feel hopeful, but they're so fragile. Whereas continuation might be small, boring, quiet, but you're building something more durable there. No matter if you're continuing under pressure like in Arc Raiders or shedding that pressure off like you do in Skyrim, life requires you to do a mix of both of those things. Being unfinished isn't failure. Just because you're not where you want to be doesn't mean you need to scrap what you've already done and try it again. That's where progress lives, and breathes. It'd be a shame if you just simply restarted. So instead, just resume and see what happens. Before you go, I'm curious. What's something in your life that you don't actually need to restart? You just need to return to. If you feel comfortable, please leave it in the comments. I'd love to read them, and I think it helps to see we're not the only ones in the middle of this battle. If this video resonated with you, giving it a like really helps it reach the right people. And if you enjoy content about mindfulness, self-improvement, and games as a way to understand ourselves a little better, think about subscribing. I'd really love to have you here. Once again, I'm Gummy. Thank you for spending a little time with me today. And remember, no resets, just resume.